Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So today I'm going to show you how to do topic 6.4. Okay, so let's start over by number 1. It says when you annex a 0, you write a 0 without changing the value of the number. So if you remember our math vocabulary, annex is a very fancy math word for the word add. So if we look down here at the example, 15 and 3/10 equals 15 and 30 hundredths. Do you see that? That is where they just added a 0. That is all they did right there. They annexed a 0, added a 0. 2 and 7/10. They added 2 zeros. They annexed 2 zeros, and now it's 2 and 700 thousandths. Okay, remember we always say the value of the number and then what place it lands in or ends in. Okay, so let's try it. 7 and 1/10, right? So we're going to annex 1 0. And when they tell us to annex a 0, they want us to annex it at the end of the number. Whoop, I forgot my 1 in there. Sorry about that. Oh, this is messy now. So 7 and 1/10, and I'm going to annex a 0 here. And now it's going to be 7 and 10 hundredths. Okay, how about 61? 61 is a whole number. So where does the decimal point go in a whole number? Goes at the end of the number. So 61, our decimal point, and we're going to annex 1 0, so it becomes 61 still. It's just showing a decimal point and a 0. Okay, we don't say 61 and 0/10. It's just 61 still. So for whole numbers, show the decimal point before you annex the zeros. Okay, so they want the decimal point before the zeros. So 16 becomes 16. It's still 16. There is a 0 that we annexed here, but it's still 16. 8. 8 is still 8. We annexed 2 zeros here, but it's still 8. Annex 2 zeros. So 5. It's a whole number. Where's the decimal point going to go? Yep, right next to the 5. And 2 zeros. Next, we have 4/10. We have 4/10, and our 2 zeros that we need to annex should go right after our 4. Okay, so 5 is still 5. It just has 2 zeros annexed to it. And 4/10, it's not 4/10, it's 400 thousandths, but it still has the same value as 4/10. Okay, so let's scroll down and see what we have here. Okay, so they want us to find 23 divided by 5. Is 5 going to go into 23 evenly? No, we know that already, right? So if it doesn't go into a number evenly, what do we have left over? What do we call that? We usually have a remainder, that's right. But in this case, we are going to have our whole number turn into a decimal. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Estimate. Since 25 divided by 5 equals, what is 25 divided by 5? Yes, you should say 5. We know that when we divide, we are going to start in what place? Can 5 go into 2 evenly? No, because 2 is too small, right? So we know we have to go to 23. So what place does our quotient start in? It's going to start in the ones place, right? So dividing in the ones place. Ones. I'm trying here. All right, that's not terrible. In the ones place. Okay, so 25 divided by 5, right? So 23 divided by 5. Does it go into it 5 times? No. So it would have to go into it 4 times. That's correct. 4 times. 4 times 5 would be 20, correct? And then our difference would be 3 when we subtract, right? 23 minus 20 gives us 3. Okay, so now let's go over to step 2. Okay, we have 3 remaining. Okay, so instead of having a remainder, we are going to turn this quotient into a decimal now. By doing that, we need to add a decimal point. So we are going to put the decimal point at the end of 23, and we're going to annex a 0. Okay, so now we have to bring that 0 down. We're following our usual division algorithm. So we have to bring down. And now 3 is not 3 anymore. 3 now becomes 30. Okay, something else that I want you to look at and notice is that when we put the decimal here next to the 3, we also need to add a decimal up in our quotient. Okay, so in step 3, we are going to divide now. What place? What place is this? This is the tenths place, correct. So now we are going to divide the tenths. I'm writing that in here. The tenths place, okay? So we brought down our 0 and we got 30. So 5 goes into 30 how many times? If you said 6 times evenly, that is correct, 6 times. 6 times 5 gives us 30. And when we subtract 30 minus 30, we get 0, correct. So our answer is 4 and 6 tenths. 4 and 6 tenths. Okay. All right, so let's try this one more time together, okay? Whoop. There is our, so 23 divided by 5 is 4 and 6 tenths. You could put that right in there. Okay, find the quotient, show your work. So that's a small space. I'm going to open this space up over here a little more. It says do it on the back, but I cannot flip this over, so I'm going to do it here. Okay, so think about it. It's like our usual division algorithm. Can 3 be divided by 4? That's a no, right? So I'm going to put a little X, right? That helps you. Can 38 be divided by 4? It can. How many times can 4 go into 38? Without going over. You said 9, that is correct. Okay, 9. 9 times 4 gives us 36. Very good. All right, let's do our subtraction. 8 minus 6 is giving us 2. Okay. So now if you are unsure of what to do here, you could look up at what we just did above. I'm not going to have a remainder. I'm going to make my quotient into a decimal. So in order to do that, I have to annex a 0. When I want to annex a 0, I'm going to add the decimal point in my dividend and then add my decimal point up in my quotient in the same exact place. And then I'm going to annex 1, 0. And then I'm going to bring it down. And I don't have 2 left over anymore. I now have 20. Woo! Oh my goodness, that was a big 0. Fix that guy. And now I'm going to divide. 20 divided by 4. How many times can 4 go into 20? You said 5, that's correct. It goes into it evenly. 5 times 4 is 20. And 20 minus 20 is 0. Okay, so 38 divided by 4 is 9 and 5 tenths. All right, guys, I hope this helped you.